I want to welcome you to this month's webinar for the membership of the National Chimney Sweep Guild. And our discussion today is a new concept that Brandy and Jeremy Biswell introduced just a few weeks ago, and it is called the Chimney Care Plan, or it could be the Fireplace Care Plan. And what this is a replacement for the traditional proposal, the bid, the quote that we're used to giving to customers, where instead of putting on the hard sell, you need to do this, this, and this, instead it's presented as a care plan. These are the steps that you need to undertake to care for your fireplace, to care for your chimney, to care for your venting system. It could be used for dryer vents, it could be used for any service that you offer. But it's a unique concept that I thought really knocks it out of the park in a way to communicate with your customer. So join us as Brandy, Cheryl, Jeremy Biswell, and myself share this concept with you that Jeremy and Brandy thought of and have put into practice in their own business. It may just be a gold nugget idea for you to increase your communication and your sales with your customer. Appreciate you joining me, and I hope this month's webinar is of value for you. Randy and Jeremy came out with something about a week ago that I think could be a whole new way to communicate needs to your clients and to put a package together that I think people will buy into. It is a radical change in the concepts. And in a minute, we're going to go to Jeremy and Brandy's going to be making statements. We're going to be asking her questions also. And a lot of this goes back to their own backgrounds. As I heard this instantly, I thought of what they were both trained to do in school earlier. And I think that is the basis from where this idea came from. So, Cheryl, what's your thoughts on today's broadcast subject matter?
Well, I'm not privy to all the information that they're talking about. So, but just by the title and what little bit I do know, I think there's going to be a change coming, as we all see, and we're going to have to follow that change. And it sounds like maybe they have the ideas to take it there.
Well, that's one thing about it. Flues Brothers has always been out there on the edge, coming out of comfort zones and doing things. And let's face it, they're a company that people look at, and they're a place that people aspire to be. So this is some of their thinking. So Brandy, as a host, but also a person that's going to share this with us today, what's your thought of the value of what we're going to be talking about today that I haven't really described yet?
I think it could be a game changer for what our technicians are doing out in the field when they communicate to the customer what work needs to be done.
That's it. So today our guest is Mr. Biswell, Jeremy Biswell. And Jeremy, let's share a little bit of your background. What did you do before you got into the chimney business? And what have you done as you've gone through the years? And what's happening with Jeremy? Tell us a little bit about Jeremy for the people that don't know. What a great guy you are.
I'm a great guy. Okay. Well, I try to be a great guy. No, I've been doing this for, my gosh, I think this year earmarks about 23 years I've been doing this. And I actually had hair when I started doing this. And, whoa, there we go. And so basically I came from that webcam. I came from basically a nursing background. I was doing catering. And then I got into nursing school, met the gal over there on my screen, and decided to get married. Yeah, that's good. And then basically the nursing kind of went a different route for me. I kept doing the catering. It was a lot of fun and everything. And then the owner of that business said, you know, really shouldn't be working for me. You should start your own business. You've got a lot of drive and a lot of talent, and I'll help you. I'll help you get started. So we looked into different industries and different things we could do. And the service industry is always a good way. What back then they called it starting a part-time business. Now it's called a side hustle, which is kind of what a lot of people are getting into. Is they're looking for they've got their primary job and they're kind of looking for a side thing, either for extra income or maybe it's a passion they have, but they really can't do it full time. Well, there was a huge need for good qualified chimney sweeps, and ironically, I hit the right places. Maybe it was a sign from God. This is what I should be doing, and now I sit in front of you today on your little podcast thing here, and we're trying to make the industry better. After you do something for as long as I have been doing it, you start worrying less about just your own little box, and you start looking at legacy and how I can make the world better and how I can make the industry better. And I think that the world that we have grown up and had is changing. And what thing is happening is they're not making a lot of experts, that people that are sticking with an industry or a trade for a long time. So what I've seen over the 23 years I've been doing this is, for example, roofing. We never had a lot of the flashing issues that we see now, and we get a lot of calls and people go, well, I've got a roof, I've got a leak, and the roofer's been out here 5 times, and basically they're saying it's the chimney, and we get out there and we look at things, we go, did it leak before that you had the roof replaced? No. And it's like, okay, well, there's these areas, but ironically the brand new flashing's leaking too. And what I equate that to isn't we just got a lot of bad roofers. What it is, it's just like in kindergarten when they circle you up and the teacher tells the first student a little secret, and they're supposed to repeat that all the way around the circle, and by the time it gets back, it doesn't even make any sense anymore. So that's kind of what's happening in the trades, is those guys are getting trained by the next, and now we're kind of starting to lose a lot of quality and stuff. So guys that have been doing this a long time and have been successful at it and everything, they really need to be sharing as much as they can for the next generation. Stop worrying about, a lot of these things that happen or whatever. So we're constantly trying to come up with new ways and different ways of looking at things. And that's where we stand. Hopefully that gave you enough info to kind of get the intro going here.
That was such a brief explanation. I mean, you condensed your words down so great, Jeremy. I
don't get to talk to a lot of people like this anymore, so I just have to talk. No, I'm just kidding.
I understand.
Give me the short answer.
So anyway, here's the concept. And a week ago, and actually, I didn't even know. Usually, Brandy kind of shares with us her thought processes. And actually, I was watching Facebook the other day, and what did I see? But I saw Jeremy and Brandy together on a video. Now, you got to understand, it was really hard to get Brandy on video for a lot of time. That was one of the stressful things that I had to do because she really didn't want to be on video. But all of a sudden, I turn on Facebook and I see Brandy and Jeremy sitting there, and they are making a video together. And they've come up with this new concept. And to be honest with you, when I heard this, it's like, holy crap, they're on to something here. And what this is where they developed that it's time we stop doing proposals, bids, quotes, whatever you want to call them, to sell repairs. Rather, we need to construct a chimney care plan, or maybe it's a fireplace care plan, or maybe it's anything. And it's like I said, I had a gutter company here today, and same token, they need to put together a gutter care plan, for what's going to be involved as an ongoing basis. So I'm going to kind of start the questions. And Jeremy, I'm going to come to you first. Who came up with this? Was it you or Brandy? And what brought you to this light bulb gold nugget idea?
Well, I think it's been kind of a gradual thing that happened. I don't know. Do you remember kind of what everybody always asks me? How'd you come up with this or whatever? And I don't remember the exact conversation. I just some things just pop in my head, and sometimes I share them, and then when I do, people go, "That's a great idea," and then it just kind of starts to snowball. So, Brandy, can you remember? I think
it was like when we came up with Chimney before anybody was doing virtual chimney assessments, and we're like, You can go to the doctor on your phone. A lot of doctors now just can work from home and see patients and do it virtually. So then we talked about Chimney. And so I think we tend to borrow a lot from our nursing background. And so, so it was last Friday, we were actually driving to work and we were discussing a concern that one of the students in the class had last Thursday night. And we were kind of just talking back and forth. And I think, Jeremy, though, I would give you the credit because I think you're the one that said care plan. And then I'm like, Chimney care plan. So I think it was a combined effort.
Okay. So Cheryl, let's go to you. This is new to you. Okay. This is broached and you're hearing it for the first time. So what's your questions about the Chimney care plan, or we may call it the fireplace care plan, or whatever it is? What's your thought processes on this?
I think it's really neat. I'm actually enjoying this because I'm glad I don't know anything, because it gives me a chance to learn with the rest of the viewers. And I'm excited to hear what they've got to say about it and tell us about it.
So, Brandy, from what I understand is, instead of submitting a quote, a bid, a proposal, whatever we're going to call that form that we're going to give people, instead of doing it in a proposal form, rather, you're going to present this as the customer's Chimney care plan. And as you said this, and I actually broached this with a client yesterday, and he hit on it automatically, said, yeah, that's just like you go to a doctor or you engage a fitness coach and you wanting to lose weight or whatever it is, you put together a plan. So Brandy, tell us how this will replace the classic bid, proposal, quotation we've done in the past.
Well, Jerry, you're going to be here soon. Jeremy, I don't know. Show the chart. How soon is he going to be here? Where's your chart that you have?
Do we have to show the chart?
We have to show the chart because I don't remember. I keep asking, when's Jerry coming? It's the Jerry countdown chart. So you're going to be here in a couple weeks and to do a sales class for our guys. But I hate that word. Sales just makes me feel icky. And so when we're giving a proposal or a bid, we're implying that this is work that needs to be done and we're trying to sell you something. If we replace that with the Chimney care plan, that word care, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're coming up with a plan to care for my chimney. It sounds so much softer and it sounds like you do actually care. Let me read to you, Jeremy, I'm going to read to you that this is the definition of a nursing care plan, and I want you to see what you think. So the purpose of a nursing care plan is to document the patient's needs and wants. So does that sound like what our customers call for? They have a need or a want, as well as the nursing interventions or implementations planned to meet those needs. So that to me sounds exactly like what happens when our people call in and maybe they want a gas insert, maybe they have a water leak, they have some need or want, and we're going to go out there and come up with a plan to help them get what they want. So it says care plans are structured as a 5-step framework. Assessment. Jeremy, does assessment sound like when we go out and do our inspection?
Exactly.
And then diagnosis. I would say that our guys are diagnosing chimneys every day. They're out there diagnosing where the water's coming in at, why it's back puffing. The third one is outcomes. Fourth is planning, implementation, and evaluation. And that's exactly what we're doing with a chimney care plan. It's no different. It's just the difference between a patient and a diagnosis and interventions versus a chimney and a diagnosis and interventions. So what are your thoughts on that, Jeremy?
So exactly. And the thing that I've always been a little, I don't know, when we first got into this, it was kind of taught to us, okay, you're going to go out, you're going to do an inspection, you're going to line out everything, and then it's an all or none thing with it. If ma'am or sir, if you aren't going to spend this and get it to here, then I can't help you. Or as the stuff I see all the time on different forums and stuff. Oh, well, I can't ever service that fireplace again because they have to do this and they have to do that. Look, man, you're not going to get along with people very well in life if you're talking at them and directing them. Be like your doctor. When you go to your doctor, it's always the same stuff. And I don't care who you are. Okay, as you get older, you start putting on some weight, you start exercising less. So what do? Well, we might have to put you on some pills, right? And we can pill you up the rest of your life, and you can deal with all these side effects. And I love those TV commercials, may cause death, nausea, and people are, oh yeah, let's go walking on the beach. This is great. Yeah, they're not showing the death and nausea part, right? Or you can do the other, which is the same thing we all know. Get more sleep, exercise more, eat right, and all that stuff. But you know what the whole common denominator is on all this? It's up to the person. So you're getting the advice from the expert. But at the end of the day, if I choose to leave there and go to Five Guys and eat a hamburger or stop and eat nachos, I'm not really following that care plan. Same thing with fireplaces and chimneys. We come in, nope, you got to do this, you got to do that, code, ping, ping, ping. Look, man, nobody likes to be talked like that. So maybe we should change our wording from you must to you should. You should do this, you should do that. And I used to train this to any students that went through my classes that I was teaching at CSIA or what have you. You should change your language and go to should instead of have to, right? And let people make their own decisions. Now, obviously, there's instances where I'm sure there's somebody out there going, well, but what if it's a huge this? Look, I'm not saying that it isn't all important, but what's important to that customer? If the exterior condition is the only thing important to them, then fine, we're going to help you with your exterior. Well, what if I don't want waterproofing or tuck pointing? I just want the crown done. I just want a chimney cap. Okay, that's their decision at that point, but they have to own their decision. So that's why it's so important as we're going through what I like to call the chimney care condition report, which is basically an inspection or what have you. But I don't know why for years we've always said, okay, we're doing an inspection. We got to do this. We got to do that. When in reality, we should be working with the customer, guiding them, just like the doctor does. He's doing an assessment of you when you come in for your yearly physical. Hopefully you're going in for your yearly physical. And then he or she is making suggestions based on what they're finding. Sounds similar? That's exactly what we're doing every day. And it's always surprising to me that we are the ones that are supposed to put this big red tape across. I didn't know I had that much authority. I'm an authority as an expert in the industry, but a lot of people are starting to, we've got AI starting to happen. We've got the internet, you've got your cousin Jake, you've got all these people that people might consider an expert over you. And even though I'm the guy with all the years and all the training and all the certifications and the licensing and, hell, we're one of the 3 only chimney companies that I know of that even have licensing through Johnson County here locally. And that still, doesn't cause these people to go, oh, hang on, Jeremy said I got to do this, even though when I called him, I didn't give 2 hoo-haws about half of what he went over, but he did go over everything with me. So I know everything that's going on, but all I cared about was a new set of gas logs. Well, they're going to take all that stuff right down to the local fireplace shop and get that put in. And my Fireplace Friday today that I'm a little lacking on was actually out of this. I've been growing on this was the curiosity. What exactly is the top reasons for house fires? And chimneys and fireplaces are kind of meshed in with number 10 a little bit. So it throws you to go, okay, not downplaying things, but at the same time, where are we going with this stuff when someone who owns a house, a full-grown adult, goes, I don't care about the rest of this, the rest of that. All I want is this, and we look at it and go, okay, well, what's the hugest risk with that? Trying to get them to that. And then also saying, okay, I can give you, this prescription for pills or whatever, but and it's kind of like having diabetes. I can give you the insulin and everything else, but you still have to do this, and you need to consider adding this stuff to it, right? So that's kind of where we're at on things. And like I said, there is instances and hard lines on stuff, but we need to stop. If you say sales to anybody these days, you might as well be ostracizing yourself from the group. It used to be a badge of honor. Oh, I've had these many sales and everything. Look, man, we need to get that out of the equation. We need to be helping people, and we need to help people become more informative, because with all this crap, social media, the internet, chat AI, all of this other stuff, and then outside influences, they're getting pounded with so much data that what happens when you get overwhelmed, guys? What happens?
You get confused.
Besides that, what's the next thing that happens?
You get fed up. I don't want to talk about it no more.
Bye.
That's it.
Yeah. So what are we doing?
Especially if you have a high D personality like the three of us do, where you got to have it in bullet points. Okay?
We'll let the audience guess what Jeremy's personality is by his talking.
If you what Brandy just said, if you can figure out Jeremy's DISC profile and where his high is, if he's a DIS or a C, hey, enter it in there. You might get a special prize today.
I told the class the other day about certain people, and I profiled a bad customer. I profiled it, and what I found is they spell DISC DISC, but most of your really mean bad people, you have to drop the S, so it just leaves their profile being a D, an I, and a C.
And we are a family-oriented show.
So, Jerry, one thing that Jeremy hit on, though, that I wanted to bring up is, so we're hiring right now. We're back to the way we were years ago, where we're kind of doing like a mass hiring now as we go into spring. And I get that question when candidates come in. Well, do I have to sell something? Do I have to do sales? And they're terrified of that, and they don't want to take a job in sales because they've always heard about jobs in sales where you only make money if you're selling. And so now I can word it, you don't have to sell anything. You have to go in and tell the customer exactly what's going on with their unit and put it in a chimney care plan for them, and from there it's up to them if they want to do the work or not. Again, going back to Jeremy's point, it's their house. We can't tell them what to do with their house. As much as we'd like to, we can't tell them what to do with their house. The same way, if I have cancer and I don't want to seek treatment for it, I don't want to do chemo, I just want to go live my best life, the doctor can't make me do that. But I really am excited that I've been able to tell the last couple candidates now that they can do a chimney care plan. They're not out there selling. They're not out there hard pushing things.
Yeah. And, that's one of the things is that we were actually coming in to do documentation and sales training at your place. And earlier this week, I said, we're changing the name. We're going to stop doing sales training. We're going to start doing believability training. And this is part of it, which is, and Brandy, that goes right down to the CSRs you just trained. They got to be believable. The people have to form a connection with them. Anyway, I'm going to go to Cheryl for a minute. So there you go. Company care plan. You've already made action on this.
Yeah, chimney care plan. Well, these are on each of our offices. Each of our CSRs have this on our desk so that we can remember. You see, it used to say estimate details, and we've crossed that out and put CCP, chimney care plan, so that we remember when the customer calls. I had one the other day that called, and they were asking a question about their fireplace. And I said, well, let me take a look at your chimney care plan and get on the same page here so that we can begin to use that verbiage. We even changed our script that we use when we tell the customer what we're coming out to do. We used to say, and then you'll get bids. And now we say, and then you'll get a chimney care plan. And it's just so much, it sounds so much softer.
Yep, it is. So anyway, Cheryl, I'm going to take you and I'm going to move you in the position of a consumer, because in the last 2 weeks, we've had a significant story to tell over what you went through and how you felt about it as a consumer, and how I felt about this whenever I came back from out of town. So can you kind of tell the tale of the air ducts?
Sure. Yeah, it was one, and we'll go ahead and start with, I'm as high D as you can go. It doesn't get any nastier. So the guy comes in, he's very cordial. He does all the right things in the beginning. And then he goes down and he walks does the duck looking thing. And then he comes back up here. And I'm listening to the spiel. We're going to use that word. And he's giving it to me and he's showing me pictures, which I found out later, all of them were not of my ducks. He was using a scare tactic on me by having big holes with acorns in them in my duct system. So, which we found out later was untrue. But all I wanted was my air ducts cleaned. And he comes back up telling me, we can't clean the air ducts because, and they're old, we're on the lot older system. And he won't give me a cost. That's what drives me nuts. As a D, just tell me what it's going to cost and I'll tell you to go do it. Well, the guy wouldn't. So he has to leave and take all his pictures back and all this. And he asked me to give him a review, which is still sitting on my desk here, that he really doesn't want. Okay. And so I probably won't go there. But Jerry gets back. I tell him what he's saying. And yeah, was he professional in the beginning? But he took a downhill slide into being a salesman. And I'm not good at sales tactics. They don't work for me. Just tell me what it is, and we're done. And so he lost a huge job in my mind, but it's still Jerry's choice. So Jerry gets home, and would you like to pick it up, Jerry? Because it goes downhill farther.
Right, because one thing is, and this really surprised me, this company knows what I do for a living. They know I do business analysis. They know that I coach, I do sales training and everything else. So, they contact me and I said, I need to see a quote. They refused to send a quote. Simple request. We have to come to your house and meet with you. Well, when we did, the guy that Cheryl had there, he brings in an iPad. Next thing I know, he's connected a Zoom meeting to someone else back in the office. I'm serious. So he sets the iPad in front of me and starts. And the first thing he did was he gave me the highest priced option you could have. And I said, whoa, I just need to get the ducts fixed. Do you realize I cleaned air ducts for over 25 years? I know how to clean air ducts. And then I asked what kind of equipment they use. And when they told me the equipment they use, it's like, whoa, that's not a recognized method of cleaning air ducts. You need a negative air pressure and you got to activate the dirt is how ducts are cleaned. This is not, they knew that I used to do this on top of it, but they did everything in their power that they could to lose that sale instead of giving me a care plan, because the whole thing was Cheryl called them because she was worried about the air quality in the house. In fact, right across from her, she bought this big monitor that reads all these different ppms, the CO2 levels in the room. And basically, she's getting a little scared to be in the office she's sitting at right now.
But let's tell them I have a small office that doesn't have airflow. So it was as bad as it could get in the house.
Yeah, she got so concerned. She actually, and this is, where she messed up. One of the things was she covered up her duct. So she's getting no fresh air in there because she's scared the duct is bringing poisons into her office.
Well,
so
when you think about it's in there from a squirrel.
Yeah, her CO2 level in this room is going through the roof because her and two puppies are living in there. So they're expelling the CO2. But the process was they didn't provide a care plan. They didn't provide how we can make this better in a simple way that a person who doesn't understand, that's the whole thing. We are both clients of A1 Garage Doors, where they came out, they told us what was wrong in a way that we could understand it. They used the best software in the business, which is Service Titan, presented me with a inspection, which I guess you got too, Brandy, whenever they came to your house. But these guys never told me in writing what's wrong. They didn't present the information. And Jeremy, it goes down. This is one of the problems here is in our world today of home services, all of a sudden the process of sales has went to the highest ranking. That's the number one thing, sell, sell, sell. Jeremy, do you agree with me that this is where we're seeing, and there's nothing wrong with sales, but at the same time, we also have to be concerned about the customer reaction, the customer's feelings towards us, and how to get a review, So Brandy, does this make sense for the chimney care? Or what about the fireplace care? Does it need to be the chimney care or should it be the fireplace care plan? That's what I'm wondering.
I think it could also be the fireplace care plan. I think we could come up with a word that encompasses both. But you just kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that, in our industry, the push has been towards sales. And you have all these people like, oh, my truck did this much. And you're right. There's nothing wrong. We need to make money to stay in business. But when you put it in that manner, it sounds like that's all you're doing is trying to sell something. When in truth, what we know is a lot of those people actually care about the customer, and they care about if they burn their home down or not, or if they're burning quality wood, or how they're burning, or if their chimney has bricks falling off on the outside. So we have to convey that message that we care. And that's where that care plan comes in, not just looking towards the end goal of selling something. I mean, as a customer, then if you present me with a care plan, and then I can pick what I want to do off that care plan, or maybe I want to do everything off the care plan. Maybe I don't want to do anything at this time. Again, it's my house, my choice. But I think it's just conveying that compassion and care.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, I'm going to go back. I want you to hit on something that you said earlier, which I think is a big problem. And I've said this for years. I think technicians are using a code book as a weapon. I think they are taking an NFPA 211 or an International Residential Code, and they are slamming it up against their customers' heads. And they're saying, you have to do this. And you said it a while ago, and I want you to reinforce this. They don't have to do nothing. It is their home, their choice. I mean, can you imagine someone walking into my house and telling me with my high D personality, Jerry, you got to do this?
Well, Jeremy, I want to interrupt real quick. That's my high D. Jeremy's used to me interrupting him. So what you just said, a lot of our viewers are probably smokers, right? So I want to put this in relatable terms. So that would be like they go into the doctor's office and the doctor has the Surgeon General's warning right here, and they're slapping them with the Surgeon General's warning. That's not going to be effective.
Yeah, which Brandy knows. Brandy knows, because, like I said, Brandy, I've upset her many times because I will not follow the care plan, right, Brandy? It doesn't affect our friendship. You know this. We all know it. That's the way it is. That's my choice. But Jeremy, can you reinforce that where this is a big mistake of trying to say your customer has to do something? Can you reinforce those thoughts?
All right. So, so the whole sales thing is it's kind of a slang term. It's turned into a slang term, and it kind of came from a good thing, but it's always funny to me that everybody, I mean, we're trying to sell right here. Everybody sells every single day, whether you say, I don't sell. Look, we're all trying to sell this new concept right now. And it doesn't feel like it because we're just having a discussion about it. And we're telling people either do it or don't do it. But yeah, I mean, just like any service that comes to the house, we all have to have standards, and that's what a code is. It's a standard. You can do it better, but that's the bare minimum where it should be. So that's where we're gathering this information from and making these suggestions from. But that, there's products on the market that actually, basically push that code and standard to the side and go, hey, you can have wood below the firebox up to a certain point if you put in this magic firebox that doesn't allow the sparks and the heat and all the other transfer. So what's up with that, So really beating people over the head with, does it work when people beat people over the head with their interpretation of the Bible, guys?
No,
it just creates more negativity in the world instead of followers, right? So we need to utilize all these tools, code books, classes, all of, these different cool things we have in our industry. Liners, heat shield, firebox technology, smoke chamber technology. It keeps on getting better and better, and we have to provide that. Hey, we have a solution to this problem, and this is why it's a problem, and here's the relative things with that, and here's the cool part of it. This is the standard, but when we go back with this product, it's actually going to make it better, and it's not going to cost you any more money or what have you. And then let the people make their own choice on things. The funniest thing is like I said, is always believing that we're the ones that we're like the chimney police, which is always the joke. And we don't want to be the chimney police, but everybody's kind of being the chimney police, right? So, but as an adult and allowing people to make their own decisions, which is how you do things every day. I can choose to come to work every day. I can choose to change my career. I can choose this great path. Unlike a lot of foreign countries that still have government regulations, but if we've seen, a lot of those countries are getting away from those government regulations where people are having to do something because, you'll red tag it. And then next thing you know, you're getting, government sending you charges and bills and things like that. We don't have a lot of that in the United States. And thank God we don't, because it's part of the whole freedom thing. So we want to give the people the information, but at the same time, the people have to own that information. It's part of being an adult. So if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, congratulations, you've got emphysema, and you went in with the intention of, I want to run a marathon this year. Well, your first step to that is you're going to need to quit smoking. You're going to have to eat a little bit better. You're going to have to exercise a little bit better. You're going to have to do this, do that to get where you want to be. And then I go, heck with that. I don't want to quit smoking. I don't want to do this. So I'm going to try to do this way, and it's either going to work out for you or it's not going to work out for you, but I'm not going to go back to the doctor afterwards and sue the doctor because I made this decision based on all this stuff, right?
But
that's
Jeremy,
another thing.
The doctor let you know it was his responsibility and his duty he took an oath to let you know what the issue was. And that's where I want to be clear is we're not saying that the technician doesn't have to disclose all that. They do. We still have a responsibility to act in our professional manner and document everything that we see and make sure that we're doing our part. We're just saying the next step is provide them with that care plan and let them decide from there.
Right.
Well, the other thing I always get is from people is liability, lawsuit. And I always ask people, where are all these lawsuits? Well, I took a class and this guy was telling about this lawsuit. And I go, look, I've been in all those classes, and I go up and ask that person, hey, can I get the reference case number or whatever? Oh, it's a closed case. Guys, Jerry, you're an expert witness, right? People have hired you to do this stuff. First question, do we have a bunch of those closed cases out there where we can't analyze and go, what went wrong here, so we can avoid this as business owners? And number two, okay, well, there you go. Another little falsehood that's happened over time with that circle that I was talking about earlier. The other thing is let me ask you this. If you're an expert witness and someone comes in and they go, okay, where's the inspection? Well, we don't have an inspection where it's like the stamp of yes or no. We have a chimney care plan or a chimney care condition report. How can someone sue someone over a condition report or a care plan or something, Brandy? Have we seen a lot of lawsuits in different industries and in the medical industry and stuff over a chart? Unless they totally get the charting wrong or give the wrong medicine or whatever, Well,
we ourselves, Jeremy, have been let go from 2 lawsuits very quickly because we had all the documentation. We could prove that we did a thorough inspection. We could prove that back then we called them bids, that we gave bids for everything that needed done. So there was nothing to sue us for.
Yeah,
Isn't there an old thing that you can lead is it a horse or a dog to water, but you can't make him drink?
A horse. But Jeremy, you were kind of on the right. When you were kind of right a while ago, it's actually went beyond. I coined the term chimney police many years ago, teaching D&D seminars in the 90s. And now it's went beyond that. It has actually become almost like the chimney Gestapo. And if you don't want to listen to what we say, we're just going to fire you as a customer, okay? And we see this all the time. And so often it comes because there wasn't the right communication with the customer. We come in and we get demanding, and the customer has a right to ask questions. Okay, the customer has that right as the customer. Okay, so you've got to be able to communicate properly. So, Cheryl, as we've talked today, what's this bringing home to you? Do you think that the Biswells have come up with a gold nugget that, as a customer, that you would buy into this company?
I do. I mean, it it's much gentler. It actually tells me more, for lack of a better way to put it. But it also works with my core, and that being that, as you know, I've always believed that communication was 99% of everything that went on anyway. So we're communicating with people, we're not demanding. And so it's basically you still get the same information, but it's in the way it's said and it's the words that's
Yeah.
used.
Yeah, but Jeremy, getting back to your question, there's a couple key legal terms, and I think you follow them with this process. Number one, you have to follow with the standard of care. And the standard of care, if you're reporting in this, you've done that. You also have what's called the failure to warn. Okay, and then the failure to warn, I think you have covered this with the Chimney Care Plan. You have given them a process to follow. And what you've also done, which is the third legal term we teach, which is you have passed the burden to act to the customer. So have you covered yourself from a litigation standpoint? I think you have. In doing this, you've done those, you've taken the steps to follow the industry standards on the inspection, you have warned the customer, and you have passed the burden to act onto the customer. And then if you have this documented, then you have your defense. And that's, Brandy, that's what happened in your lawsuits. You had the documentation because you are a right royal pain in the ass for document. No, you are.
No, I am.
I know
That's my
you
number
are.
one thing. Yeah.
Right. I mean, when we get into human resources questions, folks, let me tell you, as a coach, and she's our human resources expert, she is a pain in the ass on documentation. Okay. Right, Brandy?
I mean, yeah, we spent a great deal of time last week in our
Right.
class going over
Which
that.
is, and to be honest with you, that's exactly what we do as coaches. Somebody engages our services, and it is my job to find out where they want to take this company and then to provide them a strategic plan to get there. And it's all up to them if they want to follow the steps. I cannot force it. I cannot. We build the strategic plan over what that customer wants. It's just like if Brandy's working with somebody as a service type consultant, then Brandy, you're providing them a strategic plan. But at the same token, when people don't follow that plan, the only thing you'd say is, hey, don't blame me. It's your fault that your service titan isn't working right because you didn't do the work. Am I right, Brandy?
Yes. And did you just coin the term coaching care plan? I feel like.
I think we just did. Well, we may just change the name of our on-site analysis to a coaching care plan, because this is, like I said, what we're doing here is we're giving the people a strategic, and that's what you're doing with your care plan. You're giving them a strategic plan. Okay, we need to fix this and we need to fix this, but you've also got to have the ongoing care. What's going to be required after this work is done? It's just like we had gutters replaced this year. And what did the guy say? This is the things you need to do to maintain these new gutters. As I was handing him his check and chastising his guys for not asking me to give them a review out in the front yard this morning. So, Cheryl, what other thoughts come to mind with this?
I think it's really good, and I can see the diversification. I think we have marked a few names here that no one else can. They can borrow them, but they can't own them. So that part I like. I like the new concept. I think it's going to help us a lot. I mean, it's just like the word budget. I won't use the word budget when I'm speaking to one of my clients, because that implies you want to know just how much money they've got. So I've softened that up a lot. It's all in the way you say it, and with the care that you actually say it in. It's also going to depend on the person delivering this. Are they going to deliver it as a soft plan?
Yeah. So,
Well,
Brandy, is there anything?
wouldn't you agree that when someone presents something, instead of trying to sell them something or trying to sell them on something, that if you just stop and you put some empathy and some caring into it, that people are going to be a little bit more receptive to that, right?
Yes, sir. So, Brandy, as we finish up today, is there any final thoughts you would put in besides? I want everybody to know if you see the words, and this is a big thing. These two people came up with this gold nugget concept. Okay, and like I said, as soon as I heard it, it just knocked my socks off. And if you're listening to us today, I hope that you're seeing the wisdom of this and something that comes out. And that's the purpose of why we do this show every Friday. So, Brandy, is there anything else you would add to what we're talking about here?
Yeah, my students were really excited to try it out last week, so I'm interested to follow up with them and see how many of them have tried out the verbiage. The magic letter here is C, and the magic word is customer. At the end of the day, we're in this for the customers, right? We're in to make their life easier, better, and care for them, and that's where the Chimney Care Plan comes in at.
Gotcha. So, Jeremy, any last words you want to add in here?
Oh, there's so much to talk about, but we've only got about an hour on this. As with everything, look, I've made a decision. I turned 45 last year, going to be 46 this year, and in my opinion, it's going to sound a little crazy, but my life is halfway over. The second half of my life, I want to spend not only improving upon myself, but improving upon others, so I can leave a lot of this stuff and help people get for the next round of guys, not only my own guys, but everybody in this industry. So we have to adapt to, new things and what's going on with the world so we can all be successful.
Yeah. So, Brandy, last week we brought your classroom in live from when you were doing your CSR training. So let's share with our listeners what else is on tap for this year to be going on in the Learning Loft that I'm going to get my chance to teach there in just a few weeks. So what else is happening at the Learning Loft?
I have to look at my little cheat card. So May 4th and 5th, we are doing the exact same class, the CSR Basics 101, that is hosted by the National Chimney Sweep Guild. And then June 15th and 16th, we are doing Office Management 101. I will tell you that class is already halfway full. So if somebody is thinking about signing up for that one, they need to get signed up because we do have a max of 18 people, preferably 16 people. July 21st, we're doing Leading for Business Owners. August 24th and 25th, we're back with the NCSG doing the CSR Basics class. September 14th and 15th, we're doing another Office Management class, and then it's time to hit the road with busy season.
There you go. And so everybody's aware, if you're going to be at HPBA, Brandy is going to be doing a presentation for the Firetime Network on Saturday night. Cheryl and I will be teaching a class on outdoor living for hearth retailers as we go into the National Chimney Sweep Guild. Each of us has classes we're going to present there. Brandy, tell them a little bit about your classes you're going to be doing at NCSG.
Yeah, well, so the NCSG has rolled out what's called the CSR 360, which is phenomenal. So they're trying to bring a lot more classes for CSRs, customer service representatives. And so there's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 classes plus a panel there. And my class, what they've asked me to do is basically take my 12-hour class and sum it up in 90 minutes. So it's basically just going to be like an overview of what you would learn in the CSR Basics class.
So it's going to be a snapshot view of the CSR class. And Cheryl, you have a very unique presentation also, because what happened was NCSG is making a real big push to educate office staff members. So Cheryl, you have a presentation that's going to be going on at the NCSG convention. What are you going to be speaking on for your 90 minutes?
The basis of mine will be how to train the CSR to realize the personality, the DISC of the customer just by their verbiage on the phone. So they will know how to communicate with them. Since we all have different communication avenues that we like to have, I think this will definitely, when they can section out who this customer is, then they will be able to present this care package more in the way that the person wants to hear about it. So I'm kind of like Brandy. This could be a whole day class, and I've got to kind of it together, but I want to give them the basis so they've got a good start.
Right. And I'm going to be teaching 2 classes at NCSG. One of them is going to be for office staff people, and it's entitled How to Turn the Prospect into a Customer. And it's how, and the information that we're all sharing here is that's how to do it. It's going to be about communication. I asked Brandy and Cheryl the other day, give me words to use. Brandy sent me one word, which was very limiting, and she got to do some more, but she said trust. And that's what that's going to be about. I'm also going to be talking about pressure issues. But between now and then, I'm going to have a chance to be there in Kansas City, eat some barbecue. Is my favorite Italian restaurant still open?
Yes, it is. And I just saw it. I just said that to Brandy the other day because we shop for groceries at the Walmart. And I said, well, there's what we'll be here in a few weeks. And she goes,
Yes,
why?
sir. We got to have dinner there. That Kansas
coming into town.
Yes,
Gotta
sir.
go to
That's it.